with Hello Games working on their next big game, Light No Fire, using the same engine, I've been wanting to find the time to jump in for myself and see how No Man's Sky turned out. I didn't know it yet, but I was about to put over 100 hours into this game like it was nothing. And for reasons we'll get into in this video, I can't help but feel like I didn't quite play through this game in the order that was intended. And yeah, this would have some hilarious consequences. So I just want to give a massive shout out to Hello Games for partnering with me on this video. If you haven't tried No Man's Sky, now's the perfect time. They released yet another massive update this year. The game is crossplay, so you can play it with your friends, whether they're on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch. And I'll toss a link to the game in the description below for your convenience. No Man's Sky has had over 30 different updates, adding new content, updating graphics, gameplay, lighting, world design, and multiplayer. This kind of constant updates since its release is enough to make modern-day live service games squirm with jealousy. But the knockout punch really comes when we look at the fact that they added all of this new content for free and without adding a single microtransaction. Wait, a multiplayer game with no microtransactions? Is
that legal?
I decided to dive into this game completely blind, so I had no idea how much depth and customization there would be in my weapon, let alone my exosuit, my starship, my exocraft, and oh yeah, my Battlestar complete with a fleet of frigates. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start on day one. When the game starts, you spawn in on a random planet that is trying to kill you, quite successfully. You quickly realize without refilling your shield and oxygen levels, you're gonna end up dead. It kind of felt like being thrown into the deep end of a swimming pool. Years of survival game experience kicks in, and soon I was frantically collecting the necessary materials to stave off death. For now. A radiation storm arrives and it's a race to get to cover. I barely make it. I was stumbling around, struggling with simple tasks like opening containers that are now funny to look back on. Eventually I get to my spaceship and I fly off into space for the first time. And I had to stop and say, wait a second, did I just fly from the planet into space without a single load screen? Okay, that felt amazing. I used my hyperdrive to get to a new planet and land on the surface again without a load screen popping up and interrupting the immersion. And it was right here where I could feel myself starting to look forward to the journey ahead.
Please don't let me down.
At first, you start the game with your multi-tool. This bad boy acts as your mining laser and your primary weapon, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It also allows you to modify the terrain of any piece of the planet you find. I can't explain how useful this was. I used it to dig tunnels to get out of deadly storms and to find buried treasure that had been long lost to time. But this tool doesn't stop there. It can also turn into a projectile shooting gun, or for the more close-up and personal encounters, a shotgun, or it could lob explosions at enemies. And there's crazy amounts of customization. Not only can you find different tiers of a wide variety of multi-tools, you can then find an almost limitless number of mods that buff this weapon in tons of different ways, increasing its damage, its efficiency, its AoE size, you name it. The other thing you start with is your exosuit, and just like your multi-tool, you can upgrade this in a variety of satisfying ways. You can increase your storage capacity by completing missions or finding upgrade pods, and this was one of the first things I set out to do, because there's nothing that wears down my soul like having a tiny inventory in a game where I need to pick up everything I find.
No free slots in suit inventory.
Which just about describes the beginning of every survival game. So I hard focused on increasing the size of my inventory. And still, I don't know what the limit to the inventory is, but I have increased it a lot and I haven't hit the max yet. If you know what the limit is, let me know in the comments down below. But inventory space is only one small part of your exosuit. It's also got a jetpack that you can upgrade to jump farther and higher. You can also upgrade your exosuit's ability to handle high pressure so that you can dive deeper underwater for longer. And that's a good time to mention, this game has underwater exploration as well. I was not expecting this. You can find underwater bases, quests, ships, and other terrifying things that wait for you down there. Wait, no. And speaking of water planets, it was while I was on a water planet where all I could see was water as far as my eyes could see, save for this tiny little island that I landed on. I bumped into an NPC who happened to land near me, and he had a better spaceship than me, significantly better. And one thing you can do in No Man's Sky is buy any spaceship that you see. So if you see an NPC with a really cool spaceship or a really powerful one, you can talk to the owner and see what they're willing to sell it to you for.
For this, you traded your child's family.
Yep. Just like your suit, you can upgrade your ship's inventory and you can put mods into it to increase its performance. Another thing I may have done out of order is I actually didn't get my first spaceship upgrade for a really long time because I was so poor because I kept upgrading my Battlestar fleet instead. Like I mentioned, it felt like I was playing this game out of order, but in a way, that's what made it fun. I was always able to focus on the thing I wanted to focus on. But I progressed through the first 60 to 70 hours of the game building little wooden boxes for homes, not realizing if I had done one of these little quests, I would have been given the ability to make much more high-tech dwellings right away. In this game, it's really easy to wind up with tons of quests early on, and the game will automatically track the most recent quests you picked up, which can lead to a lot of confusion for a new player like myself. So imagine my surprise when I'm almost 80 hours into the game, I've built a dozen bases on a dozen different planets, and the game starts serving me a super basic building tutorial when I complete one of these quests. That's when it hit me. Oh my god, I was supposed to do this quest like 80 hours ago, but it was totally fine because that's the whole point of this game. It's not linear, it doesn't hold your hand, it's very sandboxy in that you can go in literally any direction towards any planet or solar system that you want. Every solar system is going to have more quests, more NPCs, and more things to discover, and more materials to help you progress your character. Ironically, because I didn't realize I wasn't doing some of these important early quests, the thing that was actually driving me forward was largely my settlement. What's a settlement? I'm glad you asked. I was roaming around one of the planets I had landed on looking for materials that I needed, as one does, and I stumbled upon this settlement and it asked if I wanted to apply to be its leader. At the time, I had no idea what this meant, but I'm not one to turn down the opportunity to tell other people what to do. Apparently, they had fallen under hard times and were looking for someone to lead them back to prosperity, and I have to admit, it was nice to not be alone. I immediately realized these people are heavily in debt and spiraling downward. It was going to take a lot of work to pull them out. One of my jobs as the leader of this town was to decide which buildings we should upgrade, and each of these buildings would require certain materials to upgrade them. I very soon hit a point where I needed materials that I didn't have and I didn't know how to get in order to upgrade the next building. And so this settlement acted as my main story quest, telling me what material I needed to go find next. I would head out, find the materials I needed, or find the blueprints I needed to make the materials I needed so that I could construct the next new building or upgrade an existing one. I also had to settle disputes between the population and make decisions on whether I would send people out on expeditions or not, and then I would have to live with the consequences or the benefits of those decisions. I wasn't expecting any of this to be in my space exploration sim. Slowly but surely, the economy of my town would recover. I got the settlement out of debt, and now I'm trying to make them happy to get the population up so that I can increase the output of goods. And going back, there are so many failsafes in the game where if you stumble on any of them, the game's going to be nudging you forward. In a sandbox game like this, it's really easy to lose sight of what your motivation should be. What are you supposed to be doing next? And interestingly, in my first playthrough, the settlement did a good job of keeping me curious about what the eventual payoff would be and pushing me forward. Pretty soon I would unlock my first freighter, and that would also help with this task. It was somewhere around this time that I discovered the Anomaly, a space station hub that I can summon anytime. The first time I landed my spaceship here, it was equal parts epic and overwhelming. There are vendors and NPCs everywhere. I walked around, I got lost, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do next. Eventually, I would figure out that this place plays a huge role in your progression. It's here that you'll be able to unlock blueprints that allow you to progress through the game. There's also major quest NPCs here, as well as ways of exchanging achievements you earned for usable in-game currency. The way the Anomaly is designed is brilliant, and I just want to point out how much of a difference this one design decision makes. You don't just teleport to some generic hub detached from the rest of the game. Instead, you summon the Anomaly to you, wherever you are, and this keeps No Man's Sky from experiencing that same sense of immersion break that lobby-based games run into. You don't go to the hub's world, the hub comes to your world. I would eventually figure out that if I didn't know how to make something, the answer was probably somewhere in this station. It had blueprints for building equipment for my houses, mining equipment for my operations, blueprints for making rare materials and rare components, and it's also the hub of multiplayer content. All the people you see running around in here, landing and taking off, those are real people. Other players making their way through this almost infinitely large universe. You can talk to them, party with them, and choose to team up with them to knock out missions and earn some quicksilver, which is a currency that you can then use to buy loads of different things, particularly the type of things that other games would make you pay real money for. This game lets you earn those things for free, just like the good old days, and man, was that a breath of fresh air. The next major development would be when I would run into a freighter being attacked by pirates, so I fought off the pirates, and then the freighter invited me on board. Cool, I thought. Maybe he'll give me some credits that I can spend at one of the shops somewhere. After thanking me, they asked if I wanted to be the captain of the freighter. My dreams of having my very own Battlestar Galactica were finally a reality. I wasn't expecting this. I already had my own spaceship, my own settlement, my own exosuit, my multi-gun, an exocraft. I mean, I already had so many different random things in this game. Now I'm getting a freighter, and I could recruit a frigate to join my fleet. Not just one frigate, I could have 30 frigates, but each one costs money to recruit, and this is where I enter my poor phase, as I start recruiting every frigate I find. So as I roam the galaxy recruiting better and better frigates, I'm also trying to upgrade my freighter and send my ships out on expeditions. I was investing in my long-term future at my short-term's expense. The success of the missions that I sent my frigates out on depend on a number of factors: how well suited to the task they are, how upgraded they are, and the decisions I make while they're out. Sometimes they would call back mid-mission saying, "Hey, we're digging deep into the planet's core. We heard some really unsettling noises down there. Should we keep digging deeper or should we get out of here?" What would you choose? Would you tell them to dig deeper and potentially find something wildly valuable at the risk of the entire expedition failing? Or would you play it safe and have them come back with what they've got? I spent too much money on these guys, so I told them to come on back. I'm not willing to lose you just yet. And your freighter isn't just for expeditions into deep space. It's also your home. You end up being able to build it out, add rooms to it that allow you to craft, allow you to trade, and allowed storage containers that allow you to store an almost infinite amount of loot.
It's so beautiful.
Now with my settlement buildings being upgraded and my frigates out on missions in deep space, it was time for me to look at this long list of quests that I had collected and start trying to figure out which ones I needed to do first. At this point, I had explored dozens of different planetary systems and built bases all over the universe made out of glorious wood. I'm a simple man. I'm a function over form man when it comes to my bases in survival games, so they always end up being a box big enough to place the essential items I need in, and I'd already built dozens of these boxes all over the universe. I built this one to automate my copper harvesting. I built this one to automate my indium needs, and I built this base to farm crazy amounts of money. I realized this planet had graviton balls everywhere, and a single stack sold for about 4 million credits. This planet single-handedly fixed my financial woes. It was a huge boon to my progression. So when I had done all of this and built all of these bases, and I completed a quest and the game started giving me a building tutorial 70 hours into the game, I knew I had probably done something unintended. I had accidentally dodged this early quest like Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix, and because exploration is a core part of the game anyways, the game never stopped me from running headlong into multiple other things like settlements and freighters that I was most likely supposed to run into much later. On the bright side, this now unlocked a much fancier base that I could set up. Unlike my previous bases where I had to run wires from my power generator to my battery packs to my teleporter, now I could just build one of these pods and put a power generator on top and everything inside would be automatically powered. Fancy, but this is just the tiniest tip of what's capable with the building systems in this game. Eventually, you can build something that looks like this. Close enough. I'm 80 hours in and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of some of this game. I've only got 8 frigates out of the 30 that I can have, and most of them are nowhere near S tier. My settlement has just finally made it into the green and started producing items for me. But I have a lot of other buildings and population that I can add to get this thing really up and running well. I dabbled in the multiplayer content and quicksilver farming one weekend. I did a couple of missions to rack up some quicksilver, but then I was torn by indecision. Do I want this living seed thing? It's expensive, so I assume it's good, but I have no idea what it does yet. Or do I want the jetpack cosmetic because I'll be able to see it every time I launch off the ground? I'm honestly paralyzed by indecision and haven't bought anything yet as a result. What do you guys think? I'm now over 80 hours into the game and it's ridiculous how much more stuff I feel like I can still dive into. I'm still driving around in a B-class spaceship, but it has loads of slots for upgrades and inventory space, so I'm having a really hard time parting with it when I see A-class spaceships. But now that I'm coming into more and more money, it's just a matter of time. If I had had to choose my favorite part of the game so far, I think it would be the constant source of progression. Even 80 hours in, I still have so many things that I can still upgrade and improve. Not just one thing, many things. I'm still working on upgrading my exosuit. I'm still working on upgrading my settlement. I'm still working on upgrading my fleet of frigates so that I can go on better, more profitable missions. And I'm still looking for that S-tier spaceship that I can really invest in. But if you've played No Man's Sky before, let me and the other people that are thinking about jumping into this game know, what is your favorite part of this game? Is it the exploration? Is it the progression? Is it the settlement, the frigates, the spaceships, the space combat? What is it that really set this game apart from the others for you? All in all, I'm incredibly surprised with what No Man's Sky has turned out to be. I had tons of people coming into my streams, popping into my videos, and telling me, this game's amazing now, you've got to check it out. And I'm so glad that I finally made the time to sit down and play this game. And I'm 100% not done yet. I'm gonna keep going, but I had to stop and make this video first. Deadlines, you know. Even still, while I've been editing this video, I've been popping into the game to upgrade my settlement and to send my frigates out on more runs. All of the different progression systems that this game has tucked away into it really help bring that RPG feel to this open world survival sandbox game. As far as how all of this reflects on Light No Fire, their upcoming game, it's huge. If they were able to accomplish all of this with their first game on this engine, I can only imagine what they're going to be able to accomplish on their next go. After playing No Man's Sky, I'm more excited than ever. So if you haven't got around to trying No Man's Sky out yet, I can't recommend it enough. I am so glad that I finally had the opportunity to play this game. And if you do decide to check it out, I have that link to the game down in the description for your convenience. Massive shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for supporting the channel in the big way you guys do. It's because of you guys and your constant support that I get to play amazing games like this one. If you want to become a member, click the join button down below. If you're not sure what to do next, maybe check out one of these videos popping up on screen right now, and I hope to see you in the next one.